My name is Rachel Hagan. I am Chief Executive Officer at Tarbiyah Academy. I've been an educator for close to 20 years in the Islamic school space. I've also worked internationally and in public schools. I have taught English and math and history and have led teams as big as 220 faculty members to as small as 17 members. Yeah. We, as a school, we are growing and really thinking strategically around how we meet the needs of our community. We've also been for about 11 years now, really thinking about our financial. In order to grow, you have to think of your financial strategy in growing. This year, it's my first year back at the school. I used to be the founding head of Tarbiyah Academy 11 years ago, and now I'm back as CEO. And so in those first few months, I started working with the board on our budget and realized that we needed to do some work in kind of bridging the gap between what our tuition is bringing and the cost of education, how much we're actually spending on students. And that gap really made me think and strategize with the board on who can have, like, how can we needed professional help on how we were going to raise that gap, that money. We called it our annual fund. It was around $850,000, and our school really needed to be able to raise that money. And this was more than we've ever had to raise before. And so we did a lot of research, spoke to a lot of different people, and that's how we landed on Oak Tree. And I also sit on the board of the Islamic Schools League of America, and Oak Tree had done some work with ISLA. Our executive director learned a lot through that process, and so it seemed natural for our school to reach out to Oak Tree and see what they could do for us. Really focused on fund development and fund development strategy. We curated a package with Oak Tree that included some in-person time. Brother Nadim Riaz was our coach, our fund development coach. And so he came and spent an entire day with the board and I on educating us around fund development strategy. We learned a lot around just like best practices, but also what works for our school in our context, given where we are here in our state. And we also had like a 2-hour virtual beforehand to kind of, again, give us more information around like just more nuts and bolts. What is fund development? What is fund development strategy? He then engaged with me and whoever can attend from the board in one-on-one coaching. We had about 9 sessions of those almost every week, leading up to our gala and leading up to Ramadan. Learned a lot. We also had he helped me with strategy around like our private donor events, which is something that we hadn't really done a lot of, certainly not as successful as we found them now. And so he would really work with me on kind of what is it that we need? How do we do like an email campaign during Ramadan? Those types of things. Um, I mean, I think there was a great benefit to the school. I think I learned a lot about fund development and fund development strategies. Some of it like is common sense, but you don't know it until somebody actually tells you, and you don't know it until somebody who's done it before says, "Ah, this works, this doesn't work, try this, try that." And so instead of going through a lot of trial and error on our own, it was nice to have somebody who said, "Hey, I've tried this, and this is what actually works." Or that, hey, the CRM you're using is not good. Look what would happen if you used like a proper CRM. And so we actually changed our CRM, and we realized after we did that, like, whoa, the amount of knowledge and data that you have, there's no comparison between the one we had and the one that we now have. And this was a byproduct of the coaching sessions. Yeah, absolutely. I would absolutely recommend Oak Tree. As I said, I know Oak Tree does a lot of things. We used you guys from the fund development strategy perspective, and you were able to help us raise I would say what, 3/4 of our annual fund thus far, and it's not the end of the year yet. And so I would say was effective. Really, it comes down to it was very effective. Um, I also appreciate the expertise of the of Dr. of Brother Nadim. He's somebody who's actually doing the work now for other organizations, and so I felt like the information he was sharing with us was like real time information. Like he's done this stuff, he's doing this stuff. I also appreciated you, Mohsena. Like I appreciated like how you curated the relationship. You really stewarded the relationship well. The check-ins, the reminders, as somebody who's incredibly busy and does not have her own assistant, it was really nice to get your messages and even when when I miss a meeting or something like that, or missed or like came in a little late to a meeting, you called or sent a message and you didn't make me feel guilty about it. So I said that you really helped steward the relationship. I think you're an incredible asset to this organization.